the umpires have already they've risen a little bit of a stink about the people operating the ABS system because for the majority of it, I mean, they're in the stadium, and most likely it is probably interns that are operating the system. Most likely, we
Classic.
don't know for certain. No one's really
As
come out saying I've hired a full time ABS person, or the league is saying we have full time ABS people at all the stadiums. But I mean, the umpires say it's mostly hourly people. Now, hourly people to me means interns or seasonal employee, not a full time employee. So just working in the system, in the baseball system for a few years. That's what it means to me. So, I mean, now I know the umpires already don't like ABS because it basically blatantly in a split second tells the whole world you were wrong. And I mean, what are your thoughts? Like, should MLB consider like because like when you do like NFL replays, it's full time officials in New York, right? And it's the
right.
same, and it's the same with the MLB umpires. It's full time people in New York, right? Like looking at the play all together. So should the MLB consider full time ABS staffers? You think?
I mean, I think that so I really like KBS as how it's worked. I think it's a great addition to the game. I think it's just the right amount of automation. And so I want it to continue. And one way to make sure that it continues is you have people who are full time doing it. So I think it makes sense to have people who are dedicated to that system and who know how it works and who are on the payroll for the long term, because I think that the rule should stay long term. I think it's a really good rule. But that being said, like I think the system is supposed to kind of work on its own, and I think that keeps it a little bit fairer. You just hit a button, and the machine measures, and then you do what the machine says. If that was on every pitch, I think that would be taking something away from the game, for sure. So I think that it needs to be limited, but I think this is the right amount. They could maybe experiment with going up with the number of challenges that teams get. Maybe they could tick that up a little bit. But no, I think our full-time employees keep the rule moving forward. That's the Chris take.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, and I mean, if you look how it's used in the minors, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. It's all automated. Now that's to
Mm-hmm.
help train umpires, so when they get to the big leagues, they know the strike zone when they enter. And then like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they call it without the ABS system. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's to help umpires learn the strike zone and how to track movements and stuff like that. Which in the minors, I mean, the minors is the MLB has done a when MLB absorbed minor league baseball and bought them out, they started experimenting a lot more. And I think those experimentations have helped because you experiment with the pitch clock,
Yes.
ABS system, experiment with a lot of things. So it is a good way to get kinks out of what you're seeing, like problem wise in the big leagues. Like we see, here's the problems. How can we use minor league baseball to help fix these problems and see how it works? So I like the way it's worked. Now, the one thing I would like to see with ABS is make it more 3D and actually have the front of the plate involved and not just the halfway point in the plate. Because even though batters stand in the back of the box because people are throwing 100 plus, the strike zone technically says where the ball crosses the plate. The front of the plate is part of the plate. So,
Okay.
because if I'm a pitcher, right, like, I mean, you look at Greg Maddux, that man worked corners like nobody's business.
He
And
did.
I mean, just to imagine Greg Maddux throwing a two-seam fastball and it's clipping just the corner before it goes off the plate, right? And now he's going to miss out on calls because it's back a couple inches where this ABS.
Everything I said about pitchers not having a good vantage on where their pitch, goes, that doesn't apply to Greg Maddux. I trust him over the umpire.
Yeah, but I mean that's just me. I think that's something they should look at, just making it a 3D zone and including the front portion, even the back portion too. Just because with the curveballs and everything, what if they hook around and they clip the back corner of the plate? So I don't know. To me, that's just one of those things because the ball's got a lot of movement now. People are high on spin rates, so the ball's moving all over the place. So it might just touch a certain part of the plate before it doesn't anymore. So
I think that makes perfect sense. And also, I mean, it's a great opportunity for some really, really interesting analytics because if you could get that data, the three-dimensional path of the ball on every pitch, that'd be incredible. I mean, you could do crazy things with stats. We already have come so far just over, the last 10 or 20 years in terms of like the stats that we're thinking about for the way the pitcher throws the ball, spin rate, things of that nature. And yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. I mean, why not? Listen, if the technology's there, we should consider embracing it so long as we aren't overriding what makes baseball great.